So, welcome to everybody. We call this the Power Hour. It's kind of our new slogan. I wish I could say I came up with it, but someone else came up with that name. I think Sarah or Kristen. I'm not sure. But guys, we did these trainings for several years and kind of went away from it. And so many requested, and I'm excited to be back doing these. It's about the third or fourth week, and this morning we got James. Pronounce your last name for me correctly because I say it
I'm,
wrong probably.
I mean, technically it's Jung, which is
Oh,
Jung, kind of like that. But I say Zhang. I think Zhang's fine. Yeah.
well, I know I'm doing it wrong. And I assure you, Todd Rowland will get it wrong. I mean, he still can't pronounce Limu, so we know he'll get it wrong. But James Chung, but is that closer to your actual, if I was pronouncing it correctly?
Yeah, it's
That
almost like Jung, Jung, but
Chung.
yeah, yeah. But
Well, guys, I'm excited about having James. Listen, this just shows what we mean by the blurred line of sponsorships. James and I have no financial connection, and I've known James for several years now, and probably going to tell a story on him because when James and I were on the Partners Council, I believe it was, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, we were in Salt Lake City, and he was like, I need to pick your brain. I feel like I'm starting over. I feel like my business is not where it needs to be. Frustration was in his face. And the reason I like to say that is because when you hear of people's success, you don't know the battles they've gone through. And he didn't know that I was going to talk about that. But I mean, he's looking to me for advice, and he's one of the best I've ever met in the industry. But yet, frustration was in his face, and he wanted to hear from someone else. So, James, I really appreciate you being on this morning. I don't even know your exact title right now. I know you're chairperson two. I believe that's
yeah,
correct. And you're in the top 5 power rankers in the world and growing. I've been told that's from what I see posted, you're fixing to be even move from there. So here's the point. Just a few years ago, James was frustrated. And I just want you to know that we all go through seasons of ups and downs and moments when we, have to fight through. And so I asked James to come on, just share his story. He said, what's your topic? And I said, you know what? You've been doing this a long time. I didn't give him a topic, but I do want James to share where he's come from and why he loves where we're at. So, James, thank you for being on this morning. And I'm going to turn it to you to kind of refresh us all. Tell us what's going on with your life and how this business is changing you.
it's such an honor to be here. What's going on, Partner Co family? Put a 5 in the chat if you're excited for today. I like lots of engagement. I always love, Chris, for us to, how do we make an online event feel like we're offline? Like I'm in Deborah's living room, or I'm in Kelly's living room with Lloyd or Chelsea or anyone. Like there's something beautiful about community. I think that's the favorite part about network marketing, to be able to do this. But I just want to start with massive honor to Chris Doyle. When we talk about legacy, he is like goals right there. And you've been holding this call for how long, Chris? Like
Probably 8, 9 years.
8, 9 years. Can we just give Chris tons of love and just lots of honor? I mean, that's a huge, huge thing. Because that's one of the big topics I think I want to talk about. Because when we talk about legacy or longevity, we're kind of in a microwave society these days, right? Who here gets frustrated that partner code doesn't ship in next day shipping, but it takes us 5 days sometimes, right? Or who here's like me when you get Amazon Prime and they say it's supposed to get here today, but it gets here tomorrow. And you're like, what is wrong with these people, right? Who here makes a post and you're like, why is it not blowing up right now? So like, it's the biggest challenge, I think, of today's generation is that we are in such a microwave society. Things are flying at us so much. Now you got AI. Who here's been using AI in any way, ChatGPT or anything like that, right? Game changer. And yet, while things have accelerated like crazy, at the same time, I think it's so important, especially in our profession, to know what does it take to actually have longevity? What does it take to actually be planted somewhere? What does it take to actually commit to doing something over the course of time to actually get the result that there is, right? And I believe that's probably one of the biggest X factors that we can get, right? What's my goal today? An absolutely happy Easter. My goal is, as I'm looking at all of our friends around the world, that I'm looking at friends that we're going to see each other 10 years from now, right? We're going to see each other on stages around the world. We're going to be traveling with our families. We're going to be having amazing stories and everything. But I would say it's a 10-year game. So I got started in this wonderful profession 16 years ago. I was a 19-year-old broke college student. I never thought I'd do anything like this at all. Who here did not have network marketing or partner co on your career day one, right? Yeah, no one thinks about this. In fact, I'll be very honest with you. I was the most skeptical. To this day, I think I was still the most skeptical prospect ever. I thought this was a pyramid. I thought this was illegal. I thought this was unethical. But when I got introduced, what changed was this is reality set in. I was 19. I was going to UC Berkeley. I thought I was going to be a medical doctor. All I knew how to do was to study. I had no friends. I had no social media following. I was so shy, I couldn't even order food at a restaurant myself, type of shy. Like just thinking about doing this right now would probably make me pass out. Is anyone here a little bit shy too? You feel like you're not that person on the screen? Yeah, I know. Kelly, you're shy? Really? Man, Kelly's a boss though. Seriously. So when I got introduced to this profession, I remember what happened. It was one of the first times that it dawned on me that maybe I was just thinking about life the wrong way. Because here I was thinking I was super smart. I had like a 4.6 GPA. I almost had a perfect on my SAT. I took 16 AP class. Like none of this matters, by the way, right? Who here has noticed you don't take your report card to your banker? Like it doesn't translate into anything, right? I'm not against education. I love learning, but it has to be applied. But I remember I met my first mentor in network marketing. I'm 19. I'm sitting down with a person that dropped out from college, and I'm thinking I'm better than him. But when I actually broke it down, I realized here I was broke as a joke, living off my mom's credit card. And here was my mentor that was making a six-figure income, making more than his parents combined. And I said, maybe I signed up for the wrong class. Maybe I should just have a little bit of an open mind, right? The saying is closed minds cost fortunes. And it was the first time that I started to realize that you could actually change yourself. You see, I thought that I was a product of my environment. I thought that I was born shy. I thought I was just destined to be a certain way. I thought that I had to comply to what my family wanted, what society wanted, all of that. And it was the first time I realized that you could actually design your life, right? Jim Rohn. Anyone here ever listen to Jim Rohn? Good old Jim Rohn, the goat of personal development, Tony Robbins' mentor. He said that you can live a life by design or a life by default. And I had realized that I was living a life by default. But the powerful part for any of us here on a resurrection weekend, on an Easter weekend, you chose to be here right now. The beauty of our life and how God created us is we aren't machines, we aren't robots, but if you make a decision, you might not change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. And at 19, I made that decision to say, not only am I going to be an entrepreneur, but I'm going to change who I am. Here's one of the biggest things I've realized in business. So it's been 16 years now, right? And it's been 14 years with the same company, with the drops through ups and downs and all around. We've made money. We've literally lost it all. We've made money. Now we're hopefully being a little bit better with things as well, too. One of the biggest things I've realized is skills are great, tactics are great, follow the systems in place. Who here loves our systems of growth that we have in Partner Co, right? They work, and all those are great. But I think the greater thing is this, the greater thing is your integrity. The greater thing is your character. The greater thing that's going to last the test of time is who you are at the end of the day. Success is attracted by the person you become, not necessarily the things that you do. And especially in a microwave society today, that's not talked about too much. But I made a commitment that day that I was going to change. For things to change, we have to change. I just kept on thinking about that, kept on obsessing about that. And I sucked for a very long time. Who here remembers the first time you tried doing a live video? Or maybe you tried inviting your friend, right, Karen? And then all of a sudden you're stuttering, right? I remember I had a script. I made all the mistakes, by the way. I had a script back in the day. And I remember I called my friend, and my friend, literally, I'm reading my script, right? While I'm inviting my friend, because I'm like not a good communicator at that point, my friend stops me mid-sentence, no joke, Chris. And he's like, James, hold up. Are you reading off a script? And I remember I took my script. I'm like, no, totally called out. It was horrible, right? I had my friends reject me. I was almost like disowned from my family, all these things. It's all part of the experience, right? But I realized that in order to get great, and I hope that people can aspire the next 10 years, right? You might not be able to be legendary in 1 year, but in 10 years, you absolutely can. Okay. Here was one stat I remember. Did anyone here ever read the book Your First Year in Network Marketing by Mark Yarnell? That old school. Kelly knows what I'm talking about. Put a one in the comments if you know what I'm talking about at all. Like that's like if you said yes, man, you've been involved for over 10, 20 years in the industry, right? So this was one of the top money earners and legends in network marketing. And he gave a book called Your First Year in Network Marketing, which most of us didn't read until past your first year in network marketing. We look back like, I should have read that in my first year. Here was one thing that he said, and I kept in my subconscious. I hope you planted theirs full too. He said that 95% of people that commit to one company for 10 years plus make money greater than their imaginations. So I want you to think. All right. And if you're a spiritual person, if you're a person of faith, Ephesians 3:20 says that you can do exceedingly abundantly more than we can ever ask or imagine. So I want you to think, put it in the chat per month. What's the biggest amount of income you can imagine in your livelihood right now? Put in the chat. What would be crazy? What would be like, wow, that would be life-changing? Is it 5,000 a month, 10,000 a month? Like throw it in the chat. 50,000 a month, 10,000 a month, 5,000 a month, a million a month, limitless, 500,000 a month, 10,000 a month. Okay. So I want you to think about any of those numbers. Here's what the statistics said is any single number we just threw in the chat, you give it 10 years in one thing and you will top that. Is that mind-blowing? Like that's crazy. So the 10-year game is so much more worth it. The 10-year game, that's where I'd be putting my focus. 10 years from now, Partner Co is going to be a multi-billion-dollar giant. 10 years from now, I mean, you're going to see this is the next Amway to the next level. This is changing the entire profession. The 10-year game is different from the 1-year game, right? But to commit to that, it's to committing to a goal of mastery, okay? And I just want to think, I want you to think, what would that life look like? So when it came to the skills, understand there's a process. And I just want to encourage us because now, like you see social media, it seems like, let's be real, who here's ever seen someone else post on social media and then they're getting promoted left and right? Like we just onboarded an amazing team from O'Dare. Shout out to Annika and the Goop gang. Some of them are here. It's like midnight. Yeah, Deborah's there, right? And like Annika was able to go senior officer. That's 14,000 a month, according to our average earnings chart USD, in like 4 days, right? Now, granted, they brought a team, granted this transit, right? Just these things happen, but you see these things, or someone posts and they sell 100 boxes of drops, right? Hey, Cheryl, what's up? Hey, Megan, right? And have you seen that before? And you're like, what am I doing wrong with my life? Like I make a post and only my mom likes my post, right? The reality is this, is that in order to be truly legendary and build the legacy business, it's not about the what you do today or what you do tomorrow, or what you do in a week from now, a month from now, even a year from now. It's about the 10-year game, okay? And I just want to encourage you, I was super slow. It took me a long time to be not sucky and not even good, just not suck. Here's the truth, okay? You ready for this? This is how life works. This is how your business works. This is how skills work. You start sucking really bad. Okay. Some of you start pretty good. Good must be nice, right? But for me, I started bottom of the bottom. I had to learn how to do everything from scratch. Who here feels like you're kind of starting at the bottom, if you're to be honest, right? Because we're looking for that next success story. You're the next success story. So I started there. I didn't know anything about anything. And then you do it long enough, you follow a good mentor. By the way, if you want to succeed massively, one thing that I've realized as a principle is successful people that move fast are those that are super coachable, they're humble, they're hungry. They're the ones that latch on to mentors that have gone before them, and they just say, Coach, what do I need to do? Ego is out of the door. They're willing to just accept coaching, right? Do you have a mentor, by the way, in your business? That could be on this call. right? It doesn't have to be a person, but are you letting someone pour into your life? We have to allow ourselves to let them pour into our life. I allowed a college dropout that I thought I was better than. Then I realized he was way better than me financially. I'm like, I allowed him to speak into my life. So if you find a mentor, then you increase your odds of success by 500%. Who here would like to get your 5-year goals done in 1 year, for example, right? So finding good mentors, allowing them, asking them to coach you, right? Not expecting them. Remember, support, by the way, is not a right. We live in an entitled society these days. Well, my upline didn't call me. Man, aren't they seeing I'm working so hard? Didn't they see me? Why aren't they reaching out to me? They should put someone under me. I'm just being real, right? Support is not a right, it is a privilege. Guys, understand it's a privilege to even have Chris host a call like this. You know, he doesn't have to do this, but he does. So having that right perspective. But when you have a good coach, a good mentor, it'll speed up your odds of success. And then you find the system. You have to lock into the systems. Don't recreate the wheel, right? Whatever your mentors are preaching, you find that, you stay there. Jim Rohn said, you tune into a channel, you hang out there, and you stay for a while. Stay for a while. Let me call this out as well, too. I want to really warn us and challenge us and encourage us. I love calls like this. I love Partner Co. I love social media. But what I am wary of is what happens is shiny object syndrome. You look at your business, you're like, it's not moving fast enough. I must be doing something wrong. You see someone else do something different than what your system preaches, and you're like, oh, that's it. I need to go on TikTok and be an influencer. Oh, that's it. I need to be doing like a bajillion drop talks in person. Oh, that's it. Whatever it is that's different from yours, human nature, we like to not say that what we're doing is, we like to say that what we're doing is the issue. So we think that changing to something else is going to change the game. By the way, that's the same thing with other companies. Who here has seen other people that jump from company after company after company after company? Not because the company made a, companies make wrong decisions, right? But it's because the people that think, man, I tried it for a little bit and it didn't work for me, I should go sell this other thing. The truth of the matter is this: you can sell anything in the world if you know the skills. You can do well in anything in the world if you have the skills, but you have to stay for a while, right? Yeah, put that in the chat. Stay for a while. Chill out a little bit. Let the process work, right? So focus on the systems that are there. Don't recreate the wheel, and focus on mastery. So you start focusing on it. Here's the journey. You start sucking really bad. You have to be really good with your ego. This is hard. Everyone here is successful at something. Many of you have a profession. Many of you have an identity wrapped up. You're an amazing mother. You're an amazing nurse. You're an amazing teacher. You're amazing at business. And then all of a sudden you get involved in this network marketing thing and you think it seems really simple. It is true. This is very simple, but mastery is hard. You're making your posts, you're following the scripts. You're like, why is it not working? This must not be for me. Have you heard that before? I'm just not that type of person. What does that even mean? You don't have to be a type of person. Network marketing is the most fair playing field, whether you're from Yale or jail, you have a GED or a PhD, it doesn't matter. We have the same product, the same business, the same stuff, the same principles, right? You have Chris Doyle on the other side. He's a grandpa. He's awesome. You have me. I just started my family with little baby Jaden. Shout out to my wifey. She's on this line right now. Why aren't you awake, babe? You should be sleeping right now. Becky is my better 3/4, by the way. She was my second recruit ever in network marketing. And then she became our top money earner. She hit senior officer by herself. And then I decided, man, she's really good. I should just like drop a knee and marry her. I literally proposed to her on a convention. So fun. I know. Yeah. So anyway, besides the point, why do you want to get good at the skills? Well, I will say, if you're single, ready to mingle, you might find the love of your life here, by the way. It's possible. It happened for me. Maybe it happened for you. Okay. So you start sucking. And the part about sucking is, I think there's a very important aspect in how to take this. I think many of us, when we suck at something, we take it as a reason to not do it anymore. We cover our ego and we say, you know what? That's just not for me. I want to encourage us to flip the paradigm here. Anything that you start new, there is that part that you're just not good at. I want us to lean in. I want us to look at that and instead say, this is exciting. This is exciting. Instead of saying, I suck, say, I'm getting better. I'm getting better. I'm learning the skills. And let me keep it real as well too. Anyone feel like you're really slow with your business? Like you just take a long, long time. It's like, oh my gosh, like why is this taking me left and right? I want to encourage you as well too. That story is the most inspiring story. The most inspiring story. Because you were willing to stay for a while and see what happens, right? So if you're taking a relatively long time, and let's keep it real, 10 years from now, 95% of you will be able to, if you stay for a while, will be able to achieve success wilder than your craziest imaginations. So you're going to be the success story if you're not yet already. You're going to be the one on stage closing the speeches. You're going to be the one that's going to be able to do traveling the world, winning the Bali trips, all of that. So think, you're already going to have your story. You know what you're going to say? Man, in the beginning, I sucked so bad and it took me a long time. But look at me now. Can you look at yourself from the end or as it's already done? Who here already believes that you will be here 10 years from now? Put a 10 in the comments, right? You're committed to that, right? Guys, we have nothing better. When it comes to network marketing, there's nothing better than partner code. Did you see the call that we just had with John, Darren, Mark, Katie? There's nothing better. The grass is not greener. All right. It is amazing here. It is what people are coming to. This is it, period, in network marketing, right? So let's just stay for a while. Okay. So you suck for a little bit, but you get excited. You know what I've realized is this? I get excited now whenever I suck. Honestly, let me just keep it real too. If you don't feel like you're being challenged every day, if you don't feel like you're doing something that makes you feel uncomfortable, I'd submit to you, you're probably not growing. You're probably not growing. So if you feel like you're new at something, if you feel like you suck at something, that's a great thing. That's called opportunity. That's called growth. So get really good at embracing the pain of that journey because it's so fun. You're going to look back and be like, man, I sucked so bad. That was so funny. Remember that one time I did that one thing and wow, oh my gosh. Okay, so you suck for a little bit. And how do you get better at not sucking though? And I'm not saying just intentionally stay there, but how do you get better? Is you have to be intentional. Here's another thing I have seen too, right? Some people say this. They say, you know what? Don't quit. That's their best tip, right? Don't quit. Who here's ever heard that tip from stage or anywhere, right? Don't quit. Don't quit. But here's the truth. Not quitting is not the same as winning, right? Not quitting is not the same as as winning. Case in point, who here's ever been to the gym before and you've seen the same person on the same treadmill sweating the same sweat looking the exact same year after year after year after year? And you're like, they didn't quit, but they didn't change. So it's not just about working hard. It's not just about staying in it and being like, oh, I'm so serious. Oh, I'm so committed. You have to be really intentional. This is not a job. A job, you can clock in, clock out your brain, and you can make money. You don't get paid based on your hour. You don't get based on you just staying here. You get paid based on the value that you bring to the marketplace. How do you become valuable? You sharpen up your skills. You get better intentionally. So are you focused? What does it take to actually better your skills? All right. Eric Worre, network marketing trainer, says this: you plan, do, review. You plan, do, review. Case in point, this is what most people don't do in business. This is what most people don't do in life because our egos keep ourselves in the way. These days, it's a great on people. I think I'm kind of known that I can communicate. People are like, man, James, you can present. Oh my gosh. Like, it's like you're speaking to me, like these types of things. And I'm like, wow, that's such a great honor. Because you should have seen me in the beginning. I could not even talk to a brick wall. Brick wall would be better, by the way, if you talk to them, because at least it echoes sound back to you. If you talk to me back today, I'd just be like, But how do you get better? Well, what I did was this. I remember it was a goal of mine. And I remember going into my first trainings. And I said, you know, one day I want to be impactful as a communicator. One day, why not? Who here would love to be a masterful communicator, by the way? I think in your marriage, I think with your kids' kids, I think in your business, if you learn how to communicate, which is a skill anyone can learn, it'll make life so much better. The ones that can communicate are the ones that have influence throughout the world. So I made that commitment. And I remember I volunteered myself. I said, you know what? I'd love to do a presentation one day. So I took the presentation and I would get on stage, and I remember I'd instantly sweat. The first times I started speaking, I would literally have sweat stains under my arm. I would literally be sweating profusely where it left a puddle on the floor. I remember there was one time I was in a room of 50 people. I did the first part of the presentation. The second half speaker came up and he made a joke. He was looking at the puddle that I left on the floor. He said, "Did the sprinklers break?" I'm like, oh, it took me a long time to not sweat. It took me 2 years to realize I could raise my eyebrows and use a facial expression. It took me 3 years to realize I could move my fingers while I talk. But what I would do every single time after a presentation, here's the key step. You ready for it? This is what people don't do. When you do something you want to get better at, do you seek feedback? I went to my mentor. I lowered my ego. My mentor's name was Elvis. Hard to remember, hard to forget, right? I went, Elvis, what'd you think? How can it get better? Man, if someone asked you that question, I saw Tammy Egberts on the line. Tammy's an officer here, did very well. She did a presentation the other day, and she asked me that question. I said, I don't remember the last time I was asked that question. People don't do that. Like, man, you have so many amazing. If you work with Tammy Melchizedek and you want to get great at communicating, you literally have somebody that's talked on talk shows and radio and author and professional speaker. There are so many geniuses in Partner Co, but you cannot access that unless you lower the ego and ask a question. Okay. You have not because you asked not. So I asked my mentor and he gave me some feedback, and the next time I tuned it. And then guess what? I went back and then I did it again. And I still sucked, but I got a little bit better. And then I would start studying on my own. I'd start studying great speakers. I'd start obsessing and immersing myself, right? By the way, why do we want to master the skills here? Remember, tell me another thing that you can do for 10 years where you can earn 95% more than you could ever imagine. Real estate won't do that. Your job won't do that. Your 401k or your pension definitely won't do that. Your kids won't do that, but this business can. If you're still with me, put a 100 in the comments below. It's worth it to master. You can write your own paycheck here. You can write your own destiny here. You can design your life, but you have to stay for a while and commit. You have to stay for a while and master. So I would do the presentation, I'd seek some feedback, and then I'd do it again. And then do it again. And I'd do it again. The only way you can get really good at anything is do it a lot, daily. Here's a quick tip. If you want to get really good at speaking, you ready for a challenge? This will scare many of you, but it's how to get really good. These days it's easier. Pick a topic every day that you can talk about for 5, 10, 15 minutes and just go live on your Facebook, go live on your Instagram. Here's how you can structure it. Have a topic, anything, doesn't have to be Partner Co related, right? How to make baked potatoes, right? It doesn't matter. Whatever you're passionate about, just have a title, write down a couple of main points, right? Point number 1, point number 2, point number 3. And the last part is have a call to action. Tell people what you want them to do. Hey, if you like this live about making a baked potato and you want more of it, comment potato, and just so I know, and I'll give you more of this, right? Just getting into this habit of getting out there. If you do that every day for 30, 60, 90 days, do you realize how good you're going to be after 90 days? People say, James, how are you so good on camera? Because I've done this 1,000 times by myself. You can only be so bad if you do something 1,000 times. All right. So you have to get the repetitions in. Okay. So you go from suck to not suck. Or you don't go from suck to legendary. You go from suck to, okay, you don't suck. But that's still like under the ground. At this point, it's tough because you're looking at your business. There's that analogy that this business is kind of like bamboo. So if you look underground, the roots are developing, but you don't see anything above ground. The above ground, the above dirt is called your income, your lifestyle, the titles, the achievements, the things that we all want, right? The below ground are the work. The below ground is the development. The below ground is the daily do that seems like it's not doing anything. Here's another principle. Work always works. It either works for you or on you. It always works. So that post you think that no one saw, it's working. That call that you made that you thought didn't matter, it's working. Every single thing that you do is constantly working. It's either working for you or on you. When I realized, I'm like, all right, awesome, let's go. So you go from not suck, you go from suck to not suck. Okay, what do you keep on doing? You keep on going through the repetitive process. How do you accelerate the process, by the way, too? You have to have a goal. You have to have a vision. You have to have a dream that is so captivating for you that you would stake everything in the world, aside from your family, aside from your faith, anything in the world to achieve it. How big are your goals, by the way? How big are your dreams? You know what? Most people don't stay for a while. To be honest, the payoff's not big enough. The payoff's not big enough. I'll be honest, if I'm doing it personally now, if this was to make $1,000 a month for me, well, actually, honestly, I do this for free. I love what we do. But like, we need a big dream. We need something to drive you, to light a fire under you, to get a vision for you, something for your family, something for your community. What do you want? Right? When the why is strong, the how becomes easy. But a challenge, as I call it, a God-sized goal. Something so big that it takes God to bail you out. Something gigantic. I've made crazy declarations this year. I put it public. You can find it on my social media. It's like silly. You know why most people don't dream big? Ego. They're scared to put themselves out there and fail and look bad. Why does that matter? Who cares what aunt says? Who says what? Who cares what your random social media high school friend that you don't even talk to says? Like, who are you trying to please? For me, I just please God and my family, right? It's like, you know who you care about, right? It's important that we dream because God gave you an ability to dream, and only a dream and a vision that only you can see, okay? If you're still with me, put a me in the comments below. So you need a dream that captivates you. Allow this Easter resurrection season, maybe meditate on that. Maybe we have to put to death the old dream and we have to birth some new ones, right? The best miracles come out of the ashes of those dreams that were once lost, by the way. So have a big dream, and that allows to pull you through this process, this arduous process. It's work because no one likes to not be good. So then you don't suck, and then you get to be good, right? You're good. So you're starting to make some money. You start to sell some boxes of drops. You start to recruit some teammates. Here's a challenge of good, though. Most people get stuck at good. Okay. You hit a couple titles, you hit manager, you hit vice president, you hit officer. Actually, I think officer is probably a place where a lot of people get stuck. Okay. Who here would love to be officer, by the way? Officer's $1,000 a week, actually $6,000 a month or something. If you want to, yeah, put it me in the comments. If you want to be officer, if you are an officer, put officer in the comments, officer and above, right? Like, and awesome, amazing. We have a lot of, that's crazy. Okay. But officer is probably a place that I've seen that this is where the good challenge comes. You get to a place where you're good enough. You get to a place that you don't have to think as much to do what you do every day. It becomes a part of your nature, it becomes a habit. You're like, I know what to post. I know what to say. I know where the boards are. I know, I got this. I got this. There's a great book by Jim Collins called Good to Great. Good to Great. Good is the biggest trap in the world. Good is what suffocates the biggest dreams out there. Because we take good enough of paying my own bills, getting a couple sales. I hit the promotion. I did the full throttle level up. Awesome, right? I got my 3 enrollments. Awesome. You get to this place where you're just doing this to kind of win the little games and little trophies, which are great. Win the trips, win the stuff. But is that really what you wanted? Is that really what the dream was? I thought the dream was to retire your family. I thought the dream was to be able to help your kids and your kids' kids. I thought the goal was to be able to give back. I thought the goal was to be able to do something legendary, right? 10 years. Okay, good. We get stuck because ego comes in the way once again. And we're like, oh, I don't want to go through that process again. I feel okay now. I'm good enough to not stand out, but I'm good enough to stand out enough. I'm good enough to not feel like I'm embarrassed about what I'm doing. I remember I got challenged this. How do you overcome good? Go back to your mentors. Sometimes you might outgrow your mentors, by the way. That's okay. Some people say, my upline's not involved. They quit. I can't do this by myself. Be a leader. I hear that all the time. Oh, my mentor's not here. I should go join someone else's team. If you did that, but I'm not saying that's not necessarily the bad thing. I never did that. Dude, my sponsor, by the way, when we pre-launched the company that launched the drops, he was the one that did the presentations. He's the one that I bring my prospect to. Right when we launched the company, imagine this, your main leader. Think about your main leader. By the way, put their name in the chat below. If you would consider someone to be your main leader, put their name so we can honor that person, right? It's amazing, right? To have that. So think about those people, amazing people that I see in the chats, incredible leaders, amazing, right? Can you imagine that person that you just put in the chat? You're ready to launch your business, do big things, achieve your dreams. You launch a big company and all of a sudden they leave. That's literally what happened. My guy that was going to close all my prospects, got a girlfriend in Canada, left and never came back. And 10 years later, I think I've had one conversation with him, just gone. What most people do, I've seen, is in these scenarios, they let the issues of people that they cannot control dictate their own circumstances. It's easy to blame. But at the end of the day, who pays for you and your family's bills and builds your business is you. You take accountability, you take responsibility, you take ownership. If it were to be, it's up to me, right? So instead, some of us are in those situations. You're like, man, I don't got an upline. I don't got the best upline. By the way, we have so much support here. We have so much collaboration. There's many support. Just seek them. Seek them and find them. But you know what's even better? Become the upline. Why don't you be legendary? Why don't you be the type of person that when you walk in a room, people are like, man, one day I'd love to work with someone like that. That became the aspiration, right? I've outgrown multiple of my mentors. I've had 3 main mentors in my business career. None of them are active with their business, but that's okay. I honor them. I love them. You know, I respect them. Now's the time. So how do you go from good to great? You go back to your mentors. I outgrew my first mentor at this point. And I said, I got to go seek more. I was hungry. I was so serious. I'm not saying to do this, but this is what I did. I found one mentor. I'm like, I would be amazing if I could work with this person. What do I need to do and who do I need to become where it becomes obvious that they need to choose me? I hope you hear this clear. No entitled attitude. This is a business, by the way, where your uplines want to help you because when you do better, they do better, right? Like that's what I love about network marketing. But at the same time, no one's obligated to help anyone else. Here's the question. Why should they work with you? Why? Right? This is how I look, by the way, with Partner Co right now. I say, pick me, pick me, pick me. What do I need to become for Partner Co to look at me to be the first line of defense? I want to be that type of person that can be dependable. I want to show up with the right attitude. I want to show that I'm a player in the game. I'm a teammate. Like, pick me, coach. Put me in. So what does that actually look like? Are you showing up to their calls? Are you following their systems? Are you actually the one that's first one on the call, last one to leave? Are you becoming their best support? Are you the one that's rallying behind their goals? Are you aligning yourself with their vision? Are you making life easier for them? Are you having the heart of volunteer? Are you helping with the Zoom? Are you saying, hey, you know what? I know you're always hosting the Zoom. Can I help? I don't remember the last time people do these. Like, these little things are so simple. It allows you to point yourself out to say, you know what? That's the type of person I can count on. That's the type of person I could depend on. Okay. Ed Milet, great personal development guru now. He also made his millions in network marketing, said the best ability is availability. Availability. So are you available to receive from whoever that it is. So I found this mentor. This is how serious I was. I was living in Northern California, San Francisco. He was in Southern California. This was the guy. This is what everyone wanted to be like. I said, what can I do? So I started winning all the promotions. I started running with my team. I started plugging into all the calls. I started doing all the things. And then one day I actually made a decision. I started building a team to be closer to him in Southern California. And one day I had an opportunity and I built up some relationship and I ended up moving in with this guy for 3 months. I literally was there. I said, all right, here we go. And what did I do? My goal was to go from good to great. How do you get from good to great? Find mentors, find coaches, and seek guidance again. The first day I remember, we were driving, and he was kind of shadowing what I was doing, and he was kind of looking. And he tested me on one of my skills, an invitation, right? How to set up an appointment for someone. At this point, I knew I was good. I was training. I was doing the thing. I was making good money, not great money, but good money. Who here has ever looked at your check? You're like, ah, it's good, but it's not great, right? This is how you get to great money. So I remember he tested me on my skill. I thought I was an A+. He's like, James, you're a C. I'm like, what? I'm not a C student. But who here, let's be honest, and this is in no condemnation. I have a point on this. Who here was one of those like C students? You just made the cut. Like you just got there. Yeah, C's get degrees, right? Business is kind of funny. C students hire the B students, hire the A students. So if you're a C student, you're in a good place. All right, you're an entrepreneur. But I was used to being the A student. So I'm not used to this like, man, I get a C? Well, that day I realized my standards are off. I realized that what I thought was good was his suck. You have to get around people that challenge you. You have to get around people that vibrate higher than you. You have to get around people that think bigger than you, dream bigger than you, are better than you. If you're the biggest person in the room, if you're the guy or the gal that everyone says, oh, you're so great, you're amazing, and that's all you hear, you're in the wrong crowd. Some of us need to expand our association. It's good for the ego, bad for the check. So find yourself into other circles, not leave your circle, but find yourself to associate yourself with other people. And I'm like, wow, that sucked, but okay, I got it. 1 week later, I made a commitment to get really good at that skill. And guess what? I passed the test. You know what happened right after I passed the test? Instantly, my income started expanding. Instantly, duplication started to expand. You will always rise. Your income will always rise to the level of your standard, not what you want, but your standards of life. This is subconscious stuff. It actually happens. It is a true point on things. Makes sense, everyone? Put makes sense in the comments if you're still with me. We're going from good to great. From good to great. But what does it take to actually go from great to legendary? We want to be legendary. That just sounds cool. I'm a nerd. I played a lot of video games growing up. I'm playing Halo and I love Super Smash Bros. And Final Fantasy. Some of you are like, what are the big nerd stuff, right? And I always wanted to level up and I always wanted to be legendary, like the highest place, right? Most people don't make it. What's legendary? You're chairperson 5,000. You're winning the volley trips. You're top power ranker in the world. You're closing stage speeches. You're kissing the babies. You're doing all that. You're helping your family. You know what legendary is? I'm so grateful. This company, they have amazing trips. Many of you are going to Punta Cana. We're going to see you soon. This time, we're not just going ourselves. We're bringing many of our teammates. But the biggest thing is we're bringing my parents. And I remember as a Christmas gift, we did this like surprise Punta Cana reveal thing. It was one of my most cherished memories. And this is just last year. I put it on the Christmas tree and it was like, printed out a ticket. And it was like, your ticket to Punta Cana. And my mom, who sacrificed her life for us, who works so hard, who has gone through so much. Still by the way, if you want to know who cuts this hair, my mom. She's the one. She's the stylist. I remember she opened up the envelope. Shout out to my wife. She made this really pretty. And she's like, I recorded it. And she's like, Dominica? Like she's like Asian, so she has a little accent. She's like, Dominica? Like Dominican Republic. Dominica? I'm like, wow, she was like really taken by this. I thought, it was a trip. Little did I know my mom had a dream list. And on that dream list was Dominican Republic, which I never knew. And it was one of those moments you're like, oh my gosh, that's why we do life, right? We do it for other people, those that you love. And it was like so cherished, so amazing. I was just hanging out with them yesterday. They're like, how much did it cost? You know, your company won it, right? Yeah. And like, you know, airfare, you know, how's that? We paid for their airfare. Like, you paid for airfare? See, that's the least we could do. The least we can do. So how do you get legendary? Legendary. Most people don't get here because here's the truth. To become a legend, you have to survive life and death. Think about any legend. Think about any movie. Think about any aspirational figure. They have to overcome the impossible. And in your business and in your life, the way to become legendary, to go from great to legendary, is when your team sees how you handle the most difficult situations. Your spouse passes away. Your family gets cancer. Your business is lost. Your teams leave and you're by yourself again. You go through a bankruptcy. You go through a health situation. Chris Doyle, legendary. He went through a bout of cancer, guys. And that's why we didn't do these calls. And yet he's still on? Legend. Put legend in the comments below. Like, legend. Wow. He does not need to do this at all. My gosh. Man. He would never tell you that, but that's exactly how it is. So becoming a legend. Here's a question. What level of problem takes you down? What level of problem takes you down? For example, oh, my friend ghosted me. This sucks. Small problem, small income. Oh, you know what? I recruited a teammate and they quit. Small problem, small income. Oh, I wish the website were better. Small problem, small income. Let's solve the bigger problem. Let's solve the multi-million-dollar problem. Let's solve the dream problem. Let's level up the problems that we solve. This last week, we were solving the problem, how do we onboard hundreds of people at the same time that just are in distress because their company did them wrong in another country, in 5 countries. That was a fun problem. And we solved it together. It was amazing, right? So what's the problem that you're facing now? Some of us here, and I appreciate the transparency, and I'll end with this story. The biggest challenge that we face, because at this point, we were doing good. We were great. Now we had the skills and we were doing really good. And we hit the multiple 6 figures and we won the trips and we got on the stage. And I remember the back of my head said, you know what? You have to be careful what you say sometimes, right? You're like, let's go see. I said, you know what? Honestly, I haven't had that much problems yet to this day. I wonder if something's going to happen. Guess what? It did. 2017 rolls around, hit by a Mack truck, business demolished. So many different reasons. We go from hero to zero. We literally lose. We move out of our dream home. We had a Bentley, we had an Audi R8. We were cool. We felt cool. Not financially wise, by the way. I wouldn't recommend that. But we moved into Ego Buster, into my mother-in-law's converted office into a bedroom. I'm looking at my wife. I made big promises. We wanted to start our family at that point. And I'm like, we're an absolute failure. I was depressed for a whole year. I'm like, who am I? I'm a fraud. You know, like I'm just somebody that this is not working. Like I suck. I'm a failure, all these things. But through that storm, we learned so much. And how do you become legendary? How do you overcome big trial? Here's the secret. Focus on who you're called to serve. It's not about you. It's about the people you're called to serve. What got me out of that funk is I saw a picture from one of our leaders. They went to a Super Saturday I wasn't at. It went from hundreds to 10 people. And they were so committed. And they said, hey, James, just to let you know, we're at this event, we're doing well. I said, dang, why am I being so sorry about myself? These guys committed their dreams, and it's my responsibility to not get it done for them, but to pave the way. To pave the way. We need to crack the code. We need to figure it out. So slapped us out of this. And we got back in the game, said, we're going to do it better. We're going to do it bigger. We're going to do it exactly like, you know what? Sometimes you need good things to die because that's in the way of the legendary things. So we were able to recreate, reinvent, innovate. Maybe that's where you are in this season. This is your resurrection season right now. And within a fraction of time, we got back to the top, to where we were before. And then you give it some more time and we're able to continue to move forward. We went through this whole transition with Partner Co. Legendary moments. Most people left. Most people bowed out. Most people did not come into the mix. I will truly end with this story. Partner Co. 2.5 years ago was not around. Our company that we loved the owners, the products, the everything, went away. Went bankrupt, had no idea. Livelihood depended on, dream home on the line, kid we're planning for. We're like, man, this is horrible. What do we do? We're about to say network marketing sucks. We're never going to do this again. I remember Greg Tidro, he's a chairperson here, Founders Club member. There was a meeting of around 20 people in Utah, and some of the leaders were gathering to meet with these new guys, John and Darren. We didn't know them, right? We're skeptical. We were like, I don't know. People are just BS. Man, I'm so hurt. And we're debating, should we go to this meeting or not? Paid your own way, right? All that. And I was about to bow out. Me and Becky were about to bow out. And Greg Tidro said, well, James, if you want an opportunity to have a seat at the table, come. You know what? We drove from Bay Area to San Diego to where my family was. And then we turned around, we drove another 12 hours out to Utah. Unfortunately, along the way, we tried picking someone up. They said no, but we showed up. And together with that incredible tribe, over the course of the next 3 months, 6 months, everything, then this company was formed. From the ashes rose something beautiful. And if I didn't say yes to that, having that seat at the table, it would not have happened. Those are those legendary moments. You have a moment right now in Partner Co. There's a reason that you're on this call right now specifically. I believe you're called for such a time as this. I believe it's not an irony that this is an Easter resurrection weekend. I believe there are dreams that need to be rebirthed right now. And this is your invitation to grab your seat at the table. Partner Co's blowing up. The teams are blowing up. We have everything that we can ever imagine already in place. All that it takes right now is for you to reach out your hand and say, you know what? I'm accepting that call. And don't worry, if you feel unqualified, remember, God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. You have to say yes before you're ready. You have to commit before you know. You have to take an action before you know exactly where it is. And just trust. God will work everything together. It'll all be aligned. But he acts and he responds based on your faith in what he said. Some of you have that right now. If you feel this right now, that you have a call in Partner Co. that you need to accept today, put I accept in the comments below. You too can go from suck to legendary. Give it 10 plus years. Let's have 95% of us achieve success beyond our wildest imaginations. Let's enjoy the journey. Let's plant our flag. Let's bring this thing to a multi-billion-dollar legacy. Let's have amazing memories. Let's enjoy the process. Let's give yourself some grace. Let's forgive others. Let's build the most beautiful thing on the planet ever. And with that, we are absolutely better together. Chris, thank you so much. It's such an honor to be here with you today. It's a privilege to be here. Thank you for your mentorship and your friendship. And other than that, have a blessed Easter weekend.
James, I am overwhelmed. I usually have words to add to everything. This time I'm lost for words. What you absolutely made me hair stand up on my arms. And guys, if you love what you saw from James today, first off, thank him for being on our call. Understand we're not financially tied. He did this just because he's that kind of person. Put a heart in the chat for James. I mean, I don't know what else to say. We have a wonderful weekend with the Easter weekend, and James, I know your faith, and I cannot put into words how much I appreciate you being here. Thank you again. Guys, next Saturday, James doesn't, I think I already told James, we have a pretty good guest going to be on next Saturday, Darren Zorbist. I can't pronounce his name correctly either. Darren, CEO of the company, that helped us make this become what James just talked about, becoming partner code 2.5 years ago. That was who we were flying out to meet that weekend. At any rate, he will be the guest. I think Chelsea's going to put a flyer in. We'll start promoting that immediately. Obviously, we know this room will fill up. We'll open the room a few minutes early next week because we know we're going to have a ton of people on. So, guys, James, and I know many people are going to want this. Yes, it was recorded, and we will put this recording out as soon as possible. I'm going to stop it now. I don't know what I was thinking.